Okay. The team, after going through a large, uh, honestly, I would call it a trial, but beginnings of war is more truthful in nature. Your team managed to get into the Drow City where things are starting up through a magical spell that they were enacting in, well, one of the cities within your kingdom, but also through that spell, you were able to get into their, well, first off, the defenses, through their defenses, and second off, to meet with the former, I should say, head general. Getting there, uh, they did state a few things here and there, something about uh, delivering a message to your people and giving them a choice. However, at that point in time, she then cast a spell on a head that Aster rolled towards her. She then, not so graciously, or not so graciously towards all of you, indicated once the war will start, it will not be by my hands, but by yours. If you so choose, then go ahead and attack. Aster, casting Misty Step, headed in for the first strike. She then had a whole bunch of traps in wait as they had through several weeks and then afterwards several months of studying you guys and knowing what you'll do. An enemy doesn't exactly know what you have in your arsenal, but after a good couple of while and a couple of defeats, I want to be perfectly honest, they had a couple of defeats to your guys' hands. They learn. However, that did not stop them from dying. I forgot exactly what you did, Aster, but I think like you bashed your head into her desk.
No, I decapitated her with the holy symbols of Loth.
That's what it was. Why do I feel like you bashed someone's head in?
He's done it before.
He's done it before, yeah. But defeating the people that did not run, you managed to cause a huge uproar, at least power-wise. As some of the people that did run, the city was more or less quiet, and that was concerning. After getting some valuable stuff in the area and finding a doorway that leads outside of the city, some of you got curious and opened the door to the city to find out what was happening. In a massive expanse of an image of a god known as Loth had appeared. Aster headed into the city to try to sway the people away from this ordeal, as well as their god, deity, honestly enslaver, and honestly controller. It did not take, but it did arise the vision of Loth towards your group. Not enough to attack, as they were only a massive divinity image. Aster casting, I believe, Dispel or Counterspell, I'm not sure which one, attempted to get rid of the image, but it did not take. I think it was like a rolled 14 total.
It was a dispel, yeah. It was like a total of 14.
Yeah. So the image stayed, and basically Lowell said, "Hey, we are going to go to war. A lot of propaganda. I'm going to be outright with you. And the first initial strikes will begin." She then took control as her main image faded. She then took control of a drow from on the city's streets. Spoke with Aster for a bit, telling him to run and give her people a challenge. Zhao, making sure that Aster the king survives, tried to sway Aster to join Yoko to get out of that city. You managed to get into the tunnels with a whole bunch of their knowledge on their plans, their war, and stuff like that. And you headed out, trying to make contact with your sister. You can tell after a while that she was not picking up, and that was a concern. Eventually, you made it to the top of the cities after a few days, where you found one city gone. Some of the plans that the Drow had something involving large worms potentially trying to cave in cities, and perhaps this was one that, well, didn't make it in time, that didn't have enough defenses, or that just lost through a large, grueling battle. Nonetheless, the only people that you encountered were farmers far away from this city that sunk into the ground. Some of them weren't happy due to the loss of their loved ones, and others hoped in stride to make sure that that the kingdom will not break apart due to this. Making way to them, you directed them to the capital, where some of you would be heading. Yoko, then deciding to take it upon herself, divided her direction to a different kingdom. Potentially not caring for the answer that Aster gave to her question, headed towards Quinn. This is where we find ourselves, and we will go to Aster and Zhao first, because I feel like to be easier. Remove Yoko for a bit. Okay. It has been 2 days underground traveling, and you could not make contact. It has been more or less a day afterwards as you rode. On the end of that third day, Aster, you do receive some type of communication through your sending stone. It is not your sister, but it is the sending stone that she has connected to yours, so they were able to make contact. It is one of the council members that you currently... one of the ruling 10 council members that is in the capital, along with your sister that supersede things. You know them as Dean, the man with like the bandana over his head. Not over his
I was
head.
gonna say that's the
Eyes.
Shadow Demon Man.
Shadow Demon Man. He does state, King Aster, can you hear me?
Yes, though I was not expecting your voice from here.
Okay, good. Currently, Princess Vayu is taking care of the communications and it's been a mess these last 3 days. One of your associates helped us manage to defeat the current ongoings in the area, but it collapsed some of our magical means of... It was a hot mess. I'm just going to straight say that without any decorum. There were some underground fighting, and some of our guards were able to eradicate them. Trying to make way, they had these strange magical devices on their person. In order to cut them out, the merchant, your friend, Jean, had to use one of his devices to cut out magic for a bit, or else things might have gone awry. That also cut out some of our magical communications. But thankfully enough, they're back up and running after 3 days. Your sister would have called, but right now she's making sure that all preparations are in action. She's contacting the rest of the cities to see how they're faring. And right now they are faring well. So far, though, we can't get into contact with Winter's Point. And you do know Winter's Point's the city that you saw buried in the ground. But we are making... Go ahead.
Winter Point fell completely. Whatever attack they were attempting to do to the others succeeded there.
We'll make preparations to make sure that the city continues to live on. But all other cities have, due to the preparedness of our connections with R&R, as well as the night owls. Minimal casualties have been lost, and roughly only 10% of all cities have lingering effects due to these strange phenomenon. But Fael does wish to apologize for making the call to, well, negate the magic in the city for the last 3 days. But does hope and wish for your safe return.
I'm headed back now. There will be refugees from Winterpoint heading there shortly after me.
Very well then. We'll make strides into making sure that any refugees in the area will be accommodated for.
What force do we have that is most well prepared to march towards the Drow cities?
We do have there are researchers in the area that were examining the tremors that Miss Zhao and what was her name? It was Alpani's sister. I just forget her name. I think oh yeah, in my notes I just have Flirty McFlirty. Not important. And the leader of the Druid Circle had felt beforehand. We do have them prepared. Some advanced guard have made way into the Underdark, but they have yet to return. But we do have the next wave ready.
Where will their entry point be?
Their current entry point is roughly 10 miles out of the city of the main capital in the mountains through a cave system leading into the Underdark.
Looking over the notes and plans that I stole from the general's desk, do I know what type of forces or traps that they have in that area?
Yeah, based off of the information you have, that's very easy to figure out. You can tell that this initial strike was not meant for right now. It was meant for like in a day, maybe 2, maybe a week. They had minimal positioning already set in place. So the strike was well in advance before they had anything to like fully take things over. The current position that guards are in, that clearings are set and prepped for, minimum, but enough that an entire team is needed to get through. If you know the positions, it'll not be like impossible to get through. And for sure, an entire contingency of soldiers that are well aware of these plans could get through without too much of an issue.
And I'll basically relay what to look for and where, and tell them to start the march now. It seems the Drow have overextended, and they're not really actually ready to hold off an invasion force.
Understood. We'll take great strides to do so. That being said, though, I have also accommodated funds to make sure that mercenaries in the area will also assist us. They will not take leadership roles as potential turncoats would be about, but there are some new faces in the area that we can introduce into your fold.
I have no qualms with hiring mercenaries. Incorporate them into whatever unit of the actual proper military they most fit in with, and give them a light description of what training and competency level of the force that they're joining, so that they understand our tactics, and there should be no issue there.
Very good. Lastly, we are implementing more martial training within the range of new recruits. As with the magic gone for the last 3 days, if it wasn't for Yoko's training of the younger recruits, we might have faced greater losses. He then gives you some more numbers here and there stating facts and details. For the most part, you can tell that your kingdom was prepared to defend themselves. There are some battles that were lost, but minimum damage was permanently there. Winter's Point was a city that was lost, as unfortunately they're already thin in number thanks to Quinn being the kingdom at their border. So, a whole bunch of defense wasn't set in place there. It was set along the border line. There were guards there, but that was, the main area that the Drow were, already ready, prepped for. So, unfortunately, that city was lost. But the rest of the cities had minimum damage. And based off of the information you have, you can tell that they struck unprepared for a long confrontation for 2 reasons. 1, to save face. And 2, they believed you lesser than them. The Drow have a tendency to either be subservient or believe themselves superior to others. It's never on equal footing.
They're always arrogant.
Yeah. So they attacked before they were fully prepared, and the numbers were driven back. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Yoko. Shahulud?
It's the sandworm from Dune, I think.
Ah.
Yep.
Yeah. But more facts, more numbers were given to you, Aster, about numbers, new recruits, and things going on. The budget will be tight, but let's face it, army will be supplied. People will not fully be uncomfortable living, but if it gets worse, for sure, problems will arise. But right now, it's at a stable point. If you didn't make the plans and preparations with the merchants, with R&R, with the night owls, things would have been worse. But thankfully, they weren't.
Luckily, we're probably about to sack a whole bunch of Drow cities, so I mean, there's money in war.
I mean, for sure, yes. But Dean then stands. Yes, other than that, budget, numbers. Other than that, we are prepared to receive you once arriving inside. There was this strange, massive influx of imagery giving details on potential misinformation the Drow has sent our way, but from what I could tell, that spell was also set off way before it was ever meant to, as only a area of a mile could actually discern what the actual message was saying. And various other cities have received this as well.
I believe that we actually stopped one city from even getting theirs, if I'm not mistaken, in my guessing.
Outside the game, you did. Inside the game, there was one city that didn't report such imagery, so it's possible. But they were ultimately giving an ultimatum on either taking the head of one of the nobles or starting the war when it happened. They gave the people a chance to do this, giving them a time of 3 days, or else they would begin. And then moments later, near moments later, when the spell was fully receding, this actual imagery and sound was only heard within a block. And it showed imagery of you attacking some drow, I believe, at waist height, looking up towards you. And you aimed directly towards her, disappearing, appearing in front of her, and attacking. And then everything went dark. So that information is currently not well known, but it is out there.
Have Jean prepare the stones like he did for the coup when I needed to make the announcement then. And when I return, I shall address the people once more.
Very well. Everything's getting ready. Dean, pleasantries, ends the call. Zhao looks towards you and does state, "Shall we ride for the city?"
We ride without rest. The sooner we arrive, the faster this war ends.
And you make way towards the city. It is, at this point in time, less than a day's travel, but it's still going to get you there when nightfall hits. In the meantime, we move over to Zhao, which we're not going to move maps. We're just going to bring Zhao back. Going to scoot you over here.
You mean
Yuko?
Yoko?
I mean Yoko. Zhao is currently me.
Yeah, I was wondering what you were planning on doing.
Zhao brings out a walkie-talkie and tells the drow, "I'm still in. Murder proceeding as planned."
Day 63, they still have not realized that I am a drow.
No.
Yuko's art changes Zhao's art changes to just be her photo, but taped over the face of a drow, like it's fucking Team Fortresses.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yoko, you I forget who has a phantom steed, but one of you has a phantom steed and are
That would
riding
be me.
towards Quinn, the destination the swordsman currently resides, the one that you were told could potentially train you. That was the last known location based off of everything you've heard, and while heading that way, you begin to send messages to your family, relaying all that's happening, what's going on. You receive a message back stating, "That is a concern and it will give us momentary pause. That being the case, though, I do suggest you train yourself quite well." This is your father speaking. "In this regard, I do suggest you make way towards the bandit camps in Quinn. There is a rumored swordsman that will be there. You already know this. However, I have heard word that strange happenings have been going on in that kingdom. Not only are they currently fighting for power, as often than not, the strongest war tribe is in power, but currently the former individual has lost their life, and they're now looking for a new leader. And some strange, crazed man has entered this fray. I do suggest caution around them. The only information I have received from that, from your kinsman, is the name Doctor. But they call them the Mad Doctor, or the Crazed Doctor."
Oh, that's funny.
So just to clarify, you said bandit camps, right?
Yeah. Essentially, the bandit camps are like the camps of tribesmen that are roaming around the kingdom of Quinn. They go around, fight each other, and the strongest one is always the leader. They have the most say so. But that leader died, and now they're fighting again to see who stands on top. And this
Okay.
Mad Doctor is not joining the fight, but has included themselves in a tribe.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep on heading for Quinn then?
Yeah. Taking strides to get there, you do eventually cross the border. You can tell that from time to time you see people heading further inland where you were just leaving. A lot of guards heading further in, but you also see like a more widespread amount of people guarding the border area. Quinn is known for a lot of scrimmages without necessity, without reason or remorse. So, like, a large battalion would be placed here. If you had to guess, more guards are being sent further into the kingdom to make sure that other cities are better safeguarded after the imminent attack the Drow made before anything could happen. Well, not before anything could happen. The guards that were already inside the city protected it quite well. But, you know, more is better. Getting there, you do see one guard, like, nod towards you. They're, like, meant to keep people safe and sound. And if you still have, like, the attire that you were probably given to state that, hey, I'm working for this kingdom, they would probably nod towards you. If not, then they would just, like, call you over.
Now, I would be using my cloak of disguise to appear human.
Yeah. Then the guard just, like, comes over, like, not pointing his sword, saying, "Who are you?" It's more like, halt. You do realize you're crossing the border of our kingdom, correct? It is...
Yes, I'm looking to try my luck there instead, what with everything that's going on in Mauritania.
Well, if that is the case, I do advise caution. Although we were just assaulted, we did strive and push them back. But Quinn is a bit more dangerous. Right now, the roaming party in the area is known as Smashing Hammer. I do advise caution when going around them. If you have to show strength, show it well. And if you have to run, I do suggest heading further into the mountains, as there's another tribe there that might be able to protect you if things go awry.
I see. Have you heard of anyone called Windspeaker?
Oops. Couldn't roll 20. There we go. 2. Afraid not.
I see. Thank you. Anyway. If it's okay, I'll be on my way then.
Again, feel free to. Advise caution. Would suggest going more with than just yourself. I would state, though, that we likely won't be able to allow you in without proper documents and the like, as well as a potential note of a higher authority than myself for safety reasons.
Of course, I understand.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
He does like a signaling whistle that indicates, hey, this person's leaving. He did roll insight, by the way. He didn't just believe you immediately. But he didn't seem to indicate like, oh, this person's lying to me. I'm just gonna change the name now. It is now Stabbing Hammer. Only because I think it's funny. And you head across the border. It'll take you a couple of hours to get truly into the kingdom into Quinn and finding people. But you do know a location of the group known as Stabbing Hammer. You can make your way there. You more or less have rumored a report of another group in the mountain area. It'll take a couple days, but you can definitely get there. What does Yoko decide to do?
I'll head for the mountains.
Okay. Roll for me. It'd be survival or yeah, it'd be survival. Survival. That's not bad. Eventually, you do find tracks that are in the area, not covered by anything. There seems to be a large contingency, but not citywide. It seems to like maybe be 15 people to 20 people in the roaming area. Probably people patrolling the main campsite or just hunting in this area. You can definitely follow them if you decide to.
Uh, what kind of people do they look like? Like, what's the general vibe I'm getting from them?
Um, I'm gonna say you follow the tracks. I did not mention that you saw the people, just the tracks.
Oh, my
but
mistake.
it's all good. I'm gonna say you follow close enough that Yoko's good at her job. She rolled a 20, and a good distance away, far enough that you can see them, but not close enough that they'd be able to sneak up behind you. Let's say like a mile in, you can see them, but like barely. You can tell that the blurred images of them are humanoid. Some have pointed ears, others have tan skin, others have scales upon them, but they are all like muscle. Like most of them have muscles. Even if it's like broad shoulders brooding, like they all seem to be well trained and armed. None of them seem to be casting any type of spells. None of them seem to have like a staff ready to charge a spell. That's not to say like these people can't cast magic. It's more like this group doesn't cast magic specifically.
Well, I'll cast invisibility on myself and get closer to kind of get a better feel for the group. Like, just kind of scout them out a bit to see if do they look like they might be amenable to talking, or are they like cannibals that'll just want to eat me?
Yeah. Uh, weird choices, but okay. When we will get to that in a bit as we move over to the council room. Oops, forgot to bring in your sister. She's dead now. Dead tired of paperwork, I mean. Oh, there we go. So, as you enter into the facility, people do nod, but due to the current situation at hand, simple pleasantries are given, and then they begin to do the rest of their work. People are making connections after like basically the communication array got shut down due to Jean. More on that later if you ask him. Currently, he's preparing the devices that you called in ahead of time. Hey, get these things set up. Fayul is like doing a whole bunch of paperwork. Various attendants also making sure that she eats, but a whole bunch of things are going on there. The rest of the council is doing their own thing as well. The only person that more or less does have immediate time is Carl. As he steps forwards and addresses you and Zhao, Fayil does look towards Zhao and like she does nod, looks towards you, Aster, and does state, while our time was brief, my current charge has returned to the city. I will be around if need be, but if you'll excuse me, Your Highness.
I sleep safer knowing that you are with her.
She does bow. In the hallway, you also saw Peter, who is like the big burly man that carries a buff sword. But regardless of that, Carl does give you the uptake on what's currently going on. People are dealing with financial situations, building construction and reformation of the areas. Soul and some druids are planting some seeds into the earth to incorporate a type of web circuit underground to make sure that it's fortified and no immediate weird worms break through the ground again without immediate detection. Colette is bringing in a few of her people in to also have observed watches in the area to make sure that no magical effects are going on that would be in mass again. So the weird magic that sent those images would be detected way before that happens again. Dean's bringing in occultists because he does have connections, unfortunately, for his upbringing. He does. To make sure that any potential demonic energy is immediately learned about and responded, and is going to bring in those people into the, with approval, of course, to the school so other people can learn from them, so it's not just like the handful of people that he knows.
Ooh, so he's wanting to like bring cultists in?
It's more like historians, but those historians know how cultists work, so kind of. It's more like people that would know what to look for if like demonic energy is present.
Okay, so these aren't like active worshippers of Bahamut or something. These are more like weird scholarly types that just so happen to know a lot about cults.
Yes.
Okay.
And now we truly know that Aster is the true evil, as Bahamut is the good dragon. Have things been
That's
truly
Baphomet.
found out? Is it?
There's
Bahamut?
Bahamut and there's Baphomet.
Oh, I did not know that.
And those are two different things.
I think I like mix them and like fuse them together in my brain sometimes. Well, you now know that I am the true evil. Which, you know, fair. I am the DM. Yeah, it's not like actual worshippers of the cult. It's more like, hey, we know like what to look for if this stuff is happening. That's correct. Other people are doing their own things. Cole is making sure that the people at the surface level are being taken care of and taken
Yeah.
mended to, as he is like the 10 rings guy. And Harvey is looking into fortifying the structures that are outside of the city. And Lon himself is looking into the mercenaries and like bringing in people, equipping them. And Carl is supervising who gets shown where. Rook is helping everyone out since he doesn't have a specific specialty other than magic. But, you know, people are like so overlaid with everything right now that he needs to help everyone where he can. Infalio's like raising morale, raising people to make sure they're okay. Truly leading the kingdom at the current moment. She does not like it, but she kind of has to. And Carl does state, after giving you all this information, yes, I myself am only as good as my own document and paperwork, so I help out with filing and such. However, that we do need to talk in a bit. Rip Rook. As we do need to send some of the mercenaries out on the field and potentially assist you and your team in fighting this war.
So it is the first order of business. Surely the council has something planned.
Currently, we are taking in detailed information on what's going on, where the enemy had directed their forces, and where their forces are going now. We do plan and will plan upon your approval, as well as the approval of the council, a counter-strike against them, as well as their varying cities. We have taken note of one such agent known by the name of... I don't know your former character's name off the top of my head.
Who's?
Thane.
Thane?
Thane, yeah. And we do have a current acting, puts up air quotes, agent in one of the Underdark cities, and he's making strides into collapsing a wall to bring in waves of water into the area, and is giving us information while that is proceeding.
I told you he was gonna drown a city.
It's gonna for sure try.
He has the
Wonder what-
magic capabilities to do it, so I mean, it's not try, it is just win.
There's also people, dude.
He doesn't care. I told you this before.
No, I mean,
people.
no, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, people have a chance to potentially stop you. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying, like, an entire group of people eventually might notice you.
I doubt it.
Okay.
It continues, sorry. I just had to say that.
Yeah.
And the force that is entering the mountains nearby, what of them?
They are proceeding as planned, making way to meet the researchers that have already gone before them. There is a security guard with the researchers, but a contingency of 50 people have made their way following their steps, along with their armaments to make sure that they are prepared if, with the information that you provided, people down there become aggressive.
And I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the notes that I stole out from the general's table out and around. This information is a few days old now, but any large troop formation would take time to implement, so anything related to those should still be okay. Traps are, of course, immovable. The maps themselves, any entry and exit points, are locked by the terrain, so those are still good.
Yeah. Looking at the notes and going them over, you can tell that some of these secret tunnels that your father, secret pathways, truthfully, your father had allowed them to have in exchange for whatever he asked for, because the trade was like off the books, are now visible to you, so you can definitely have groups of people to blockade that area until like greater forces could be sent down there, or ultimately just break that entrance altogether. Because some of them are way too close to cities for comfort.
Which one would be the largest that could take the largest force?
Like, these tunnels are big, but not like... I don't know what kind of descriptor I was going to say. For sure, there is a tunnel system that could take a large force in. The largest one would be northwest of your current location, closer to 3 days away from here, and it would be near the border of the two kingdoms, both yours and the one up north, Luminera. Specifically, oops, I didn't move myself there. I really should change this map. Anyways, you're basically here where the R is. And the biggest one, which could contain the most amount of people, would be here. Which is 2 days travel from here. near the mountain range.
Gotcha. And if we were to leave every city, say, 20% garrisoned and take all the other troops, how long would it take to organize such an offensive front?
If we leave all but 20% and have the safeguards that we currently have, as well as potentially implementing some new ones, which will take time, we can have the garrisons, we can have the people up and ready to mobilize within the next few days and get to the location within a total of a week.
Do so.
Understood. Takes his position back to the rest of the group as he is more or less the note taker guy who assists them and associates and makes sure everything is prepped and ready. Fills in the people that need to be filled in. Messages are being sent out. Carl gets on his sending stone to direct it to the connecting towers where everyone else is given information. At this point in time, Fayo is finally able to break rank from her current position. Immediately gives you a big hug. And does state, brother, it's been a while. First things first, apologies for not making contact beforehand. But I am glad you're safe.
Just returns the hug. You had me very worried.
It was an immediate decision, I won't lie to you. I am not good under pressure. Well, that's not necessarily true. I'd rather you have this job, no offense. But I am glad you're back. Right now, everything is set up and ready to go. I made sure that any potential risk factors have been quelched. Any individuals that have potentially heard the message and are, I wouldn't say going against the kingdom, but anger has festered into their hearts, are being given information on how magic could be corroded or corrupted. Imagery such as what they might have saw could have been an illusion to give them false testimony. Overall, we're making sure that this doesn't happen again. But due to how many locations were attacked, there will be people looking to blame others. And we should, in the immediate, look into quelching this storm before it arises. Not the people, mind you. I'm not saying corral the people that are going against the kingdom, because that is tyranny at that point. I'm more saying go and defeat the enemy and then deal with the situation at hand.
I understood. I did not think you would be the type to suggest such a drastic thing for such an understandable outcry.
Fair enough. But if there's anything I can do to assist you, I'm more than willing to assist. I am potentially not going to take up this role again, but knowing that we're going to war, I might have to. Thankfully enough, I have the council here, though.
Please lean on them more. They are here for a reason.
Dean, like, still in the room, does state, we are doing what we can. She's more than welcome to lean on us. Yes.
Fayo, this is me scolding you. Lean on them more.
That is fair, I suppose. Like, you can tell she was taking up way too much on her own plate. Potentially feeling responsible for what choices she's made in the immediate. But she's like, now that she has time to calm down and like focus on things rather than keep things knitted together and structured, now has time to reflect on her potential actions, misgivings, and not allowing others to help her when she is in need of help. Very well. If there's anything else, please allow me and the council to assist you.
Very well, then I address the council as a whole.
Taking this as note, they immediately about face look towards you.
Before we continue, is there anything anyone would like to say now?
No one does say anything, but one person, and well, it's Dean, the guy that does his job, very good at his job, but very upfront about potential risk factors. I, for one, do not have something to say, but I do make this statement. Whatever the drow had shown the people, it has have the potential to sway their hearts. So you must sway them back in turn. The people have seen some strife, but it is not strife they have faced before with the hands of the former king. Though this war could have been prevented, it is the actions of the enemy that caused this harm to the people itself. And you must show them, Your Majesty, that it is not the kingdom, but the enemy that must pay the price.
Dean, I am already ahead of you, for once. I already have Jean working on something so that I might address the people and win back their hearts. Though I will disagree with you on something. This war could not have been prevented. Make no mistake, I would have gone to war with the Drow, eventually. I will not suffer their policies and their slavery beneath my sands, beneath my earth. I will not let them take slaves. I will not let them do to each other as they have done for so long. This war was never preventable.
If that is the case, Your Majesty, then I do suggest you stand firm on your resolve. Any wavering now may cause greater strife in the future. And I am not one in favor of slavery either. I'm going to fully admit that. So you do have my sword. Metaphorically. I don't fight. My sword is
I
my
didn't
pen.
think you would.
Just clarifying. But I do suggest looking into an alliance, perhaps within their kingdom, of our borders. If we are to fight, then we should not fight alone. But a counter-strike beforehand would likely be beneficial. I was eavesdropping, by the way. We're all kind of in the same room. I do know that that is something Carl here has advised.
I hold still within my heart that Gino might still ally with us.
And go ahead.
And there is someone I know who I believe holds position within Ascara. So I might very well reach out to them. I'm the halfling lady who was a runaway noble. I forget what kingdom she was from. I thought it was Ascara. I might be wrong.
Do
This
you
is a
remember her
very long
name?
time ago.
Yeah. Do you remember her name?
I believe it was
Nobleman.
short stack.
Met with nobleman, Yeah, she is.
Okay. I was looking through my notes. I don't think I have her name.
I don't either. I think I made it up on the spot because you were in my notes. I have nobleman meet. They have met. Ascara nobility. But I should take better notes, which is why I record these things. I need to look back.
It was that same session we drowned the one dude at the docks.
Oh yeah.
Hello?
That's funny.
Oh,
There we go.
Hello.
I've got her name. Marigold Dawn.
Oh yeah.
Session 3.
Phew, that was way back.
Mind like a steel trap, vaguely.
Okay, and I'll write this physically so I don't forget. Okay.
And yeah, that checks out. Fucking halfling names. Jean, how long until I'm able to make the address?
Well, we didn't maintain these, unfortunately. I didn't think we need to coup again. But we should have them up and running by tomorrow night. If not, if I fully work on them today, early tomorrow morning.
And when will the refugees, for the most part, be arriving?
Best estimate likely tomorrow in the afternoon. You on a horse versus them on walking stride. It'd take them like a day. So like
Gotcha.
noonish.
Noonish. Yeah. So I will make the address just before sunset then.
Yeah.
And we've already started plans to help shelter and house the refugees. Yes.
They do not in turn. Lon does state, yes, we've also taken into account the mercenaries in the area that will also be safeguarding them as well as the actual guards in the area in turn. Advisement has been met and, arrangements have been met and accommodations have been prepared. And the former campsite within the park residents that have now been turned into more proper accommodations have also given word that they are more than willing to bring in refugees into their homes if need be. And these are the first people that you helped out getting into this city.
That's good. It's very good. Then if there is nothing else for me, thank you, Council, for all you have done and will continue to do in the days to come. I wish to retire and ready myself for the address and for war in a week's time.
They do not. Harvey, Cole, Sol, all salute. They have former military training. Everyone else politely bows.
Unless something needs my attention explicitly, consider me void for farther council meetings. My extra
Hmm?
my extra votes are to be given one to Carl and one to Dean.
Dean nods. Carl's confused by it for a quick second, but then nods. Very well, Your Majesty. Understood. They understand this completely, making sure your mental fortitude and your body, after not fully resting for the last couple of days, for sure needs to rest. Fayil helps you towards your room, and we will get back to this scenario in a bit. And we move over towards these two. And I know there's more than two, but that's not what I mean. Oops, wrong character. And up. Azura, you mind describing your character?
Okay. He's a Goliath. Of course, he's got red hair. Not normal to Goliaths, as most of the ones many people would see can't grow hair. But he does stand at 9'8". He has a maul, a great axe on his back, some javelins, and then a warhammer and a battle axe on his hip. No shirt, but on his chest you do see kind of this like kind of like a lightning strike going upwards tattoo, and then around on his face, around his eyes, you kind of see like kind of what looks to be like a tattoo designed after an eagle around his eyes.
Yeah. So as Yoko, invisible, gets closer to the people. It's ninja symbol.
Oh, and he does have this crude looking wooden, it kind of looks like a shield on one of his arms.
Yeah.
He's not holding it, it's just like on his arm, like tied. It looks like you can tell like it looks like it's tied on.
Yeah. As Yoko gets closer to these brutes, like some of them are pretty tall, but like no one's taller than Azora currently.
It's Asura.
Asora. Correct?
Yeah, Asura.
Asora. Like,
You know, like Asura's Wrath?
I'm not familiar, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
I will look it up though. Later.
That's just for like the name. He's not similar to him. But yeah.
Still though, context clues would potentially be helpful.
Yeah, for the name.
Yeah. But anyways, Yoko, you see this very tall man to the right of everyone, but they're like part of the same collective and group. You can tell that the person to the right isn't as commonly dressed as everyone else. They have different monikers, things like that, being strapped to them like potential trophies. All of them buff though. Even the elven man that's like tall, has like lean muscle, ripped shirt, likely due to war as there's bloodstains everywhere, 2 hand axes to the sides, is just like looking towards everyone like they're all laughing after a good hunt, and then looks towards Asora. I tell you again, thanks for arriving here. I know you're out here looking for a good fight, But if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to take down those murdering stabbers, the stabbing hammers, down in the valley.
Just just standing there, not really paying attention, just looking around. Looks down at him. Doesn't say anything, then just keeps looking around.
The tiefling woman, fully buffed, does state, and that's what we like about you. Stoic. Least amount of words. Ripped and shred as hell. Like, begin to, like,
Shut
pose.
up.
Dwarven buff man. See, and that pride. Yoko, you can tell, like, these people are, like, super into fighting and muscles. Maybe not. I won't say star-wise, you can totally dictate how your character is. But a lot of other people in the group are, like, super into
No.
muscles, super into fighting.
He's fucking. If Yoko can see his face right now, it's like when you see somebody who's about to snap and kill someone. He's on that thread, and he doesn't know if he can hold back. From the way he looks, you can tell these people are getting on his nerves.
Like, for sure, these people are a lot. They mean well, but for sure they can be
And
a
I
lot.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Only reason why you're around them is because they honestly are good at
I
fighting.
saw them fighting, and I wanted to fight, and this side's the one that looked to be more on the winning side. So yeah.
Yeah, honestly. As like this is going on, the orcish man like begins to sniff the air, and he like puts his hand towards his lips, indicating like silence, as like they're all not like 80% of them like heartily chuckling at a potential joke one of them made. And they do state, "Quiet, quiet. I sense something nearby. Some danger. I might have. Is this magic? Am I casting magic right now?" The elf does like slap him in the head and goes, "Of course not. None of us can use magic. I swear I have some sort of danger sense or something." "Are you sure that isn't magical?" Some of them begin to like laugh at him. But Yoko, you may or may not have been detected. You're not entirely sure. But he's like aware of a presence nearby.
Are they speaking common?
Yeah. At least in my brain they were.
Okay. Well, I'll drop invisibility and step out from where I was.
Immediately the guy that more or less had the sense of the environment immediately looks towards his team. A lot of them are like surprised. Some take up arms, others do not, but are like shocked. But the man that said, "Does he have magic?" looks and like points to you. "Look, I knew it. I have magic. I could sense you."
Next thing you know, a boulder hits him in the head.
Gawks him in the head.
I'm not talking about a little pebble. I'm talking a big ass boulder.
Yeah, they're still buff. Like, he for sure takes damage. Roll 1d12. Plus strength modifier.
So 11.
Pretty good.
I have +5.
I assumed.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, I'm not the best at all the time at math, so I shouldn't assume. I could. He is hurt, not bloodied, but he is hurt. Well, he is like bleeding. But it like stops him from like making commotion again. And this human woman like looks towards Yoko, goes, "No tribal marks, no indication of family. Take it you're a stranger."
Yes, I'm looking for a warrior by the name of Windspeaker. Have you heard of
Speaker.
him?
Hmm. Consider I have. Looks towards uh, Asora. Uh, you're not technically from around here, she says. Perhaps you have heard of him? And go ahead and roll for me history.
Nope.
Nope. Oh, that's 0. The plus 0.
What do you think? What do you expect? My intelligence is only an 11.
You like shake her head no, and she does look towards you. I haven't heard of him, but our chief, he might have heard of this wind speaker fellow. If you want to join us, but first you
Oh,
must defeat one of us in mortal combat. Not really. We won't kill you unless you try to kill us, and it's just straight up fighting until who goes out first.
What if I kill you right now?
Tiefling woman, when you say that. See? And he jokes. He's such a good joker. 80% of the group laughs at it. The guy that got hit with a rock.
back away from her.
Ye-
I just saw this other
You-
guy get a stone yeeted at him. I don't think this guy's playing.
Asura walks over to the tiefling woman and looks down at her and just grabs her by the head and picks her up
She blushes immediately.
brings her to the to eye level and just yeets her.
I am going to straight up tell you, she's kind of like into it. She's like, form of strength. Yes, please.
I just yeet her as far as I can, and I can. She probably weighs little to nothing.
Buff, but based off of your strength, easily.
And my powerful build, so my lift capacity is like doubled.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. Easily can.
Just yeet.
Roll roll a d100. See how far you throw her. Yards and yards away. She like winds up in a tree. She's essentially gone for this encounter.
Little did he know that was in fact a form of marriage proposal.
It might be. These guys are super into muscles, dude. That being the case, she's like gone for this situation. The dwarven man does state, look, honestly though, we do need to. One of us needs to fight you in order to, gain trust. That's how our tribe works.
I mean, I'm good to go. I just threw one of you guys away, so. I'm gonna
That's
sit and
different.
watch.
You're already
No, it's
part of
not.
this.
No, it wasn't.
We think of you as family.
Yeah, fuck off.
We think of you like an uncle.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it sounds like my uncle.
Say that again, and I will kill you.
He's like beginning to, but the guy that got hit with the rock like stops him. You're getting distracted, he says, trying to save his life. Do you agree to this challenge, miss?
Yes, I suppose I will.
Sura just moves against the tree, leans against it, crosses his arms, and watches Yoko.
The guy that got hit by a rock this state very well. Choose among which one you will decide to fight. There is the elven man, the human woman, the dwarvish man. I guess she's also technically a tiefling as well. But in my notes, I have her as. Oh, that's weird. A fairy,
Dude who got
I
hit
guess.
in the head.
Or this orcish man. I saw a blue ping there, so I'm assuming him.
Yep.
Okay. Oops. That is not the. Yoko, roll initiative. A turn. 17.2 versus 17. Wow, that point 2 very helpful. Oops, got him in twice. Okay. Gonna be honest, it's your go.
Okay. I'll just take a swing at him with my sword.
Yeah.
And I'll keep swinging, and then a flurry of blows.
18, 18, and 20, and 26 do all hit. 12, 17, 26, 30, 43, 47, 50, 63. That's a lot of damage. He's already bloodied. Pop, 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 pop. Like, I'm gonna get slash, slash, kick, kick. This man's like very hurt, but not dead. He's definitely bloodied, but everyone's like rooting for both party members. Like, they're also like rooting for you, Yoko. They like are enthralled with strength.
Do any of you see a fourth attack roll? So I only see 3.
I see.
So that first 12 went off with your initiative for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh,
What I was.
I thought that was your attack. The last one doesn't hit, so 63 minus 17.
Just add the 12 and 5 from that very first one back.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Then
And I'll.
Okay,
do
still bloodied.
Stunning blow on the kick.
okay, con save. Unfortunately, he's very good at con, but he
Yeah.
still might fail because it's me. Fail, probably. Did I fail? Yeah.
Yeah.
This man is dense, but you like take your strength and like cut with your heel of your foot into his joints where he, like immediately puts his body into a state of shock. Yoko, anything else?
No, that'll be it for me this round.
As his turn goes, you can tell like his group minus the person that's super not into the rest of the people are like shouting him towards him saying, "You got this, man! You got this! Why aren't you moving? Is something wrong?" Yoko.
Well, second round, same as the first.
19 does hit. And that'll do it.
Oh, I'm trying to not kill him, so
Yeah.
non-lethal damage.
Yeah. I assumed. They expressed as much and you agreed as much. But thank you for reminding me. You're just slashing in and eventually like cut into a point where like his body, even with nerve restriction, just hits the ground. Motionless but still breathing. Until like the turn ends and combat is over. Finally able to move. He's like convulsing in pain. Just shouting, I give! That hurt a lot. Like Azure, you know these guys are pretty strong, but it took this man, it took Yoko, sorry, 2 rounds to just knock him out.
12 seconds.
Yeah.
I trust that'll be sufficient.
Yoko, roll a dex save. It's not combat damage. It's more of you show these people your strength. 21. They begin to like go towards you in an act of potential risk management. You like jump out of the way. You see them like coupling their hands to potentially like lift you in celebration. 2 people are currently taking care of the guy that's currently on the ground bleeding to death. But not bleeding to death because non-lethal damage. So like other people are trying to lift you into the air to celebrate.
I'll just back away. None of that, please. I'm fine with walking.
Not an approval.
Are you
I-
disguised?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Not an approval. Eventually, the person that got tossed yards away. And I think we have that token, don't we?
Yeah.
Where would
Yeah.
I have put it?
I thought Yoko was able to flip it. Weren't
Nope.
you?
I'll make you a flip token next time. But yes, currently disguised. Anyways, the person returns back after a little bit of a kerfuffle. The guy that got badly beat up gets back up. Looks that Yoko has been triumphant. People are shouting and approval of Yoko. Like looks towards her in amazement and potential new fascination. As you clean your blade, Yoko, the man that got super beat up. I will let you know, each of these people had different stats, but they had an all same HP, which was 75. You just cut through that. Returning to the group, the guy that beat up stands up and does state, "Man, I got thrashed hard." All right, good enough for me.
Another rock hits him in the face.
He's downed. You just got stabilized, man. He didn't get fully healed. None of them can
Don't
cast
care.
magic. Yeah. The human woman like picks him up, goes, "All right, you've proven your worth. Let's go see the boss." As you make your way there. Azure, is there anything like on your mind when you saw this?
Sora.
Sora, sorry.
Oh yeah. Asora's watching Yoko. Don't know her name, but did she announce her name? No.
No, they didn't ask for it.
They probably don't care.
Is watching this new person with keen eyes and is thinking that he might have found his next opponent.
Yeah.
Because these lot are just trash.
In comparison. Many of them are level 8. But in comparison to you guys, trash. But more on this in a bit. As we move over towards here. So Aster, did you like actually go to sleep and rest?
Had myself muted. He would go to his room and just like sit there for a bit, trying to regain his thoughts and his composure. He spends some time working on his address for the people that he has to give tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as he's getting ready to go to bed proper, he takes off his mask and he uncovers the mirror in his room and he just kind of looks at himself.
Not creepy at all.
Yeah. Looking at yourself, seeing the potential risk factors that have shown themselves, as well as the safeguards that thankfully enough were set in place beforehand, your city has been spared many a potential loss. But this war isn't over yet. New alliances must be formed. Uh, New structures must be made. People that have proven themselves of your trust, have proven themselves once again. Things are proceeding forwards. There is an enemy in front of you, and there is more here than you fully remember. And there is more here than should be taken at a time. But there are a few things that you have set in place, and now you must look at yourself to see what else must be met in the future. And while this contemplation is going on, and while other contemplations that you likely have in mind, Astra, I want you to go ahead and roll a history check. You remember a few things here and there that pertain to this, and you've already set them in motion. You remember the Night Owls, this air quotes criminal organization that's fully legal, that you have access to. You remember Rev and Rev. Well, not publicly backing you up, privately they are. So you could potentially ask help from them, but they can't not act publicly, as their kingdom is currently looking into them. You remember the system of the cave entrance that the Night Owls found for you that still has yet to be explored from the side of Luminera, that if you make contact with one of their nobles, might be able to assist you on that part, especially if you give them information that the Underdark people are, for one, have access to their kingdom, and two, publicly created this entrance into their kingdom. They might be able to assist you in this coming war. You already know the stuff that you mentioned prior. Zeno and Iskara helping you out because you've assisted some of them and know some of their people as well. That all is well and good, but you also remember the dream you had when you faced the trial of mind way up in the mountains. You saw your father and brother. You saw them after the vision of people disappearing in your kingdom into strange light, and then just simply disappearing. An event that may have fully disappeared, but not that dream, and not those two people that you saw in that dream. Because, as remembered, your brother, though not alive anymore, in that dream did say some things that pertain to your current predicament, and did say that I will see you on the other side. It has been several weeks, if not months, since that time had happened, and that they have yet to be seen in this world. But you have also been a bit busy with the war and stuff. They didn't seem to be one individual that is destructive towards you, or at least not at the moment. That might be an avenue you can take to further defense your kingdom, but that also might be an avenue to investigate to make sure that your defenses are secure. And if your brother in that dream was consciously aware of your actual life, it's possible your father was as well. And he might also exist in this world, but in a new form. which may also give you more information on, well, the Drow's defenses, their lines, what he truthfully asked of them when they made that deal.
I'll put my mask back on and I'll seek out Fail.
Yeah. I will also state, though, that you did bury their bodies, so they are somewhere you would be aware of knowing. But seeking Fail, she's likely in an adjacent room that you can communicate with. Not in this room, technically. She does state, is everything all right, brother?
Quite. I just had an odd thought, and are you still capable of scrying?
It has been a few days, and thankfully enough, John's, whatever the thing he used on us, he called it an anti-magic field, has depleted its full force. So yes, at this moment in time, I can.
This is going to sound a strange request, but would you attempt to scry on Father?
Very well. Let's give it a go. She does seem to be taken aback at this, but at the exact same time, she's thinking to herself, there must be a reason why he's asking this. So she looks through like her jewelry assortment, finds one that your father, gave to her personally. I can use this. Very well. She begins to cast a scry spell, and as she does, like, a fluctuation of magic begins to resonate on the actual object itself. Something is going on, and something is actively shifting the magic to not properly work. Aster, I want you to go ahead and roll on Arcana. Okay, that's not bad. As this is going on, you can tell that something is not properly connecting. As if two signals are being sent towards one individual, but that individual cannot connect to them. Aster, you can potentially use one of your own skills to mitigate this, so the full spell can be registered in red, if you so desire. Otherwise, she needs to accept one but not the other signal.
So she's getting a connection to two places?
Yeah. And that's not normal. So, like, the spell is not operating properly. So she either needs to forfeit one, or you need to figure out a way with your own skills to allow two signals to go through.
I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna tell her to try to focus on both. To send out the scry towards both.
Yeah, that would actually work. Especially for what I'm thinking. As she's doing this, and as you use Watcher's Will, infusing your magic to stabilize things, her fully focusing on the spell, it instead of like bouncing off each other, they begin to intertwine, allowing it to be one signal instead of two, allowing the spell to fully proc. As that happens, she gets the signals clear as day. Using her meta magic, she then channels the imagery into an area of 5 feet around her. So, Aster, you can see the images as well. The first image gleams into the ground and dirt a few miles from here, like 2 miles from here, where his body is buried and dead. And you see like one, like a bit of his essence still resides there, meaning that if a spell could be used to bring him back to life or death, but it can speak with him, that would still be possible. Then the next signal hits, and you see far in the distance, enough that it is not clear where he is, until Watcher's Will begins to twine into the spell, allowing a clearer vision of a large metallic structure that seems to be some type of building, but instead of stone, cobble, and metal, it is just pure metal. It looks like a fortress built on top of another fortress, and as you look down, as it gets closer to this other signal, it almost looks like the ground itself is in a grid pattern. Once you get into the tower itself, you notice the visage of your father, but they have horns, more blue tinted hair, more connected to a tiefling or some demonic presence infused with your father's former self. As if corrupted by blood or corrupted by a curse or something of that note. Your surroundings, you do see a whole bunch of people in the current room as he's discussing something with a man with a strange mask akin to that of a... I forget the one... I don't know the actual name of them, but they're essentially like a mime, but with like a mask of a... on one side smiling and the other side frowning.
Oh, the drama face mimes.
Yeah. This type of grid pattern city is more than likely, based off of your own knowledge base, as you like go back to your own body, that of Luminera, which would be the kingdom to the north. They don't seem to be like eye to eye with one another. I will tell you, at a game I did roll, he did not notice that you're scrying on him. But they are communicating with one another. Whoever this man is.
Can we make out what's being said?
Do you have the feat that like allows... Actually, I need to look at scrying for a second. Scrying 5e. You can see in here. Yep. The immediate words I was looking for. Voluntary wants to be observed. Spell save. The target is unaffected and spell against it is working hard. The spell save. Spell 10 feet of the target. You can see in here through the sensors you were there. The sensor moves into the target remaining within 10 feet of it. What's the duration? Up to 10 minutes. Yep. So, this man in drama and this visage of your father, but in more demonic form, but still very stylish, surprisingly, are talking with one another. So I'm just going to call them your father and then the mime for clarification. So your father is talking to them as you gleam into the conversation. He does state, "Look, I am telling you things are going to go this way. If you don't believe me, then that is on you. We need to prepare the forces before anything does happen." The mime then states in a very non-masculine or feminine voice, but one of almost alien nature, does state, regardless of what you may believe, the fact of the matter is that this is not my concern. Your light, or whatever you may call it, the thing you are trying to keep away, if as long as it does not pertain to my own kingdom, what does it matter to me if your former one falls? Your father then states, it does not matter to you at the moment in time, but it will when those streets are paved down. Are not paved down. I'm just gonna do it anyways. Are paved down in blood, not the actual words I was going for. But hey, never said I was good at English. Words are hard. And then they will seek another kingdom to falter. The mime then states, all assumptions, I'm sure. Not assumptions. Knowing after I have fallen and brought myself back, my works were to keep them at bay. And now you seek not to heed my warning. And look at where it got you, says the mime. Dead in the ground, brought back up by demonic means. And now you seek refuge and help for a different kingdom. Just because you've dealt with the dark arts to protect your kingdom, you've dealt with demonic and devil forces to keep this light away. You have forsworn one enemy and taken in another by hand of your own choosing. And I will not do the same as you have. I cannot fully trust a man that is not themselves. But it's not to say I will give up on the kingdom in itself. But I am but one monarch out of 3. If you can persuade another before I, then I am willing to send in my people. If you cannot, then what do I have to benefit? You have the benefit, says your father, of surviving this calamity. I can survive it just fine. You, on the other hand, have already died before it's fallen. So try to do your work before it truly happens. They're like going back and forth in this same type of conversation. Your father making no actual stride against this man, whoever they may be. If you had to guess, probably one of the ruling leaders in Luminera, Kingdom to the north. But your vision of this conversation is like eventually backing out. Your father not making headway with the mime.
Ass are literally Darth Vader confirmed. As the vision fades, I'll make sure Fail is still well.
Fail is still well. Both of you share the same vision. And state. Well, concerning, to say the least. How? Yeah, I'm gonna ask this. How did you know to expect this? I'm only assuming you expected this since you asked me to scry.
I didn't expect this exactly. I'm not that clever. Do you
Oh.
know of the secret keepers within the kingdom's borders?
I know of a few. My current guard, Miss Zhao, she is one of their number.
I didn't know that. It's interesting.
Well,
There was.
kind of, sort of, different. It's a whole thing.
I see. Well, you made a minor detour during one of my times spent about gallivanting, and we ran across a village of them.
Oh, that's what you meant. No, she wouldn't know that.
What did you think I meant?
I thought you meant like the backstory that Zhao gave you. I just like misremembered in my own brain the group's names.
Oh. But I passed their trials and got the wisdom that I sought, but within one of those trials I had a vision of him and our brother, and they were not necessarily like they were there, but they were back, and they were and Aster kind of laughs to himself. They were haunting my streets like shades.
Fair enough. When alive father was already doing that to begin with. She like politely chuckles. Well, we need to look into that. Hmm.
Tomorrow, I will not be there for it, but describe everything that you saw there to Dean. Him and his occultists are probably best suited to handle such a thing.
Of course. I think he calls them archaeologists of the occult.
And I will call the pot black until it is proven not such.
I mean, fair enough. An individual that has cult knowledge and can do culty things is but an occultist, but without practicing. Which is, I guess, a little bit better, but still pretty bad.
Historians.
Probably a better term. You can tell she's like trying to make light of this new potential risk factor in event. Not doing a very good job. Yes. Well, I'll give the information to those mentioned. But you should rest. According to the guards that saw you into the city, you were not stopping until you made it to the castle. And knowing you, you likely didn't do that for the last 2 days.
There's something I'd like to seek out first, but before I go to bed, but it should not take long. Just a trip to the. I don't know where I would find it, whether it'd be in the armory of the castle and the treasury, though I do mean to look at both. Do you know where Father kept his armor?
His own personal armor, there were a few places. One we removed when the coup happened. That has been stored in the treasury. ever since, isolated from all other treasures. His own personal armor he sets out when he is patrolling with the armies around the borders. There is a place he used to go that is no longer active. It was the former council room that the individuals that were usurped used to hold their meetings. From what I remember, he sometimes went into that room unarmored and came out of it armored. So there's likely a secret room in that area. But when we explored the area after the coup, we did not find anything such as that. So it's likely not magic based.
Thank you. And before I leave to search for these things, can I confide in you something?
Of course.
I cannot bring myself to hate them. I think at one time I did, but the more I think nowadays, the more I only grieve for their passing.
I understand this sentiment, and I myself am not. I'm not always happy with them gone, but at the exact same time, a lot of terrible deeds that father has done and brother has not made publicly known, him being aware of them, have stopped. The people are far more happier now with father gone, and though brother meant well, he allowed such things to happen while he was here. It does sadden me to lose family members, truthfully. I am glad, in turn, it saddens you as well. As weird as that sounds.
No, I think I understand.
I'm glad you do.
Are you able to forgive me for their murders?
Father was already demonically possessed. I was quite literally next to him when he became this weird demonic beast thing. When I think he tried to bite into your sword, I think he was already gone. Brother, it'll take me a little bit of time, but for the most part, I have already forgiven you. I still mourn his passing, but I understand why it happened.
Yeah, I don't care about Brother 1. I just got Brother 2. It just came out. It's the sequel, and it's just better in every way.
Yep, it's an upgrade.
Thank you. I'm gonna go search for this armor. As ostentatious as I find such ornamentations normally, it will do the soldiers well to see their king leading from the front, dressed in regalia.
Of course. As she makes her way back into her room, and as you head out to either the treasury or looking to the former council members' room, we will get to that in a second. Boop, boop. Muscles everywhere, except for this one guy that's like in a nice button-down shirt, nice pants. Well, dirty but nice, anyways. Spectacles, one horn broken, other horn perfectly pristine. Not at all fitting in this motif whatsoever. Asora, you have met this man beforehand. He is, in fact, the chieftain of this tribe. Let's see. Already unconscious, so the woman that's carrying him does look towards him and states, excuse me, Chief. This woman wanted to speak with you. She passed her trial. She is super strong. And this man looks towards her and does state, thank you. Looks down towards Yoko. Looks like very hard, like way longer than he should. And then like stops leaning forward to like examine you and like sits back down on a rock. And then acts casually. I see. Well then, miss, what brings you by? Oh, forgive me. I am known as the chieftain in this tribe. I go by many names. Chief, leader, boss, that guy, the one with the glasses. But my official actual name is Vaughn.
You can call me Kasumi.
Yes, of course.
I'm new in these lands, and I'm searching for someone called Windspeaker.
Oh, Windspeaker. Interesting name. Why do you seek them out?
I was told that I could become a better swordsman by training with them.
I see. Well, I do know of Windspeaker. I do have that knowledge. But the real reason is... Well, not real reason. Pardon my choice of words. I understand you and anyone else wanting to be strong. People to your left are like all nodding, yes, yes, strength. Stronger, better. Vonda state. But ultimately, there's usually a reason for those not from... Looks towards his people. This type of group. What is yours? Why do you seek greater strength? If there is even a reason behind it.
I wish to be able to protect those important to me.
That is a good reason. And one that is admirable. But there is more to your words than you leave on. Or maybe I'm reading too into things. After all, how can I trust someone that I can't fully know? But no matter. If you truly seek them, they will likely be able to tell who you truly are. I can only discern so much from what I see. Further south, you will find Windspeaker with the tribe of the Flame Tongue. There, he is currently training their crew. They are not the strongest bunch, but they are the most adept with the elements of nature, pertaining mainly to fire, but they have more in store than just that. If you truly believe that this man is the one you should be seeking, then so be it. He is far stronger than I, and I have to guess far stronger than you if you are seeking him out. If you do have a map, I can mark it for you. Does, I think you said Kasumi. Does Kasumi give him a map?
I don't think I have one.
Then all I can give you is vague. Like the vaguest amount of information to travel down. And as long as you don't get lost, you'll eventually get there. He like takes his stick and begins to draw out a crude map on the ground. Here's where we're at. Here's where they're technically at. There's going to be a mountain pass over here. A road going through an entire field with forest trees everywhere. Advise caution. There's a whole bunch of bandits in that area. Not honorable ones. And further into that area, other than the Flame Tongue tribe, there is another that will murder you on sight if you are not wearing their insignia. They are known as the Silver Quill. Very dangerous, can all use magic. If you're not able to, then they will immediately cut you out of their tribe. And if you try to do any harm against them, they will immediately try to execute you on the spot.
I see. Thank you for this information.
Of course, good luck to you, I guess. Miss Consumi.
What time of day is it?
It's pretty late in the day. It's like 8 p.m., which isn't like super late in the day, but it's also probably not the best traveling time.
Yeah. I hate to impose, but might I ask if I could stay the night here before I set out again?
If that is what you seek, I'm sure one of our tribesmen will be more than willing to accommodate you. Immediately, they're like, "Ooh, pick me! She's super strong. No, pick me. I want to fight her in combat." Others are like way too into this. You like potentially look towards Asora, and he's like shaking his head no. Potentially, probably like not to take rest with one of them. Or if you have a tent, Vonda states you're more than welcome to set up.
Yes, that would be preferable. Thank you.
Like, Vaughn's not dumb. He is aware of his tribe and his people. Vaughn still looks out of place, by the way. Like, he does not match any of these people. Well, do take your rest. If you need me, I'll be over there. Points at big-ish tent, but not the biggest tent in the area. People begin to like go into their own rooms, tents, and like begin to either rough house or like do their own things. And I'm just gonna say Vaughn's over here until he's needed.
And I'll head off to the side and start ritually casting my tiny hut.
Yeah. Ritually casting Tiny Hut, you allow yourself to fully be accommodated. And Azora, you did hear this conversation. Fully well rested to a good degree. Yoko, you awaken to muscly people around you, roughhousing, fighting. A lot of them getting ready, prepared to go out for the day to fight other people, as well as potentially bears, creatures out there. Bullets, whatever they find, they will fight it.
I need to get away from this place. I'm going to just eat some rations for breakfast and then start heading south.
Yeah.
And well, I'm going to make sure I have my bearings and I'm headed in the right direction according to the map he drew for me.
You like take some.
Bond drew.
You just take some piece of paper out. and like more or less try to copy it as best as you can. Roll performance advantage because like the map is still there. You like dug into the dirt and maybe stone. Oh yeah, you like copy it one for one. So while it is crude, it is definitely something you can interpret properly, and you like now have it on your person. For sure, maybe get a map if you like reach an actual city.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah. That being the case, though, as you like you're pinning it down on a piece of paper, you notice the ground, and the ground itself is like cut through, and he was just using a stick, and some of the ground was like literally made out of stone. So, checks out why he's might be the leader, but it's still weird that he is. He's more collected than everyone else, but not your problem. As you have a map and a way down. Yeah. Possibly. You actually don't know this tribe's name, by the way. But it's neither here or there. After you go in to collect the helm, the armor set, the chest plate of the former king, you go to the area where it's mentioned beforehand, where it was gathered with the rest of the treasury. Examining it, you can tell that it's still there. No one has done anything towards it. Keeping it safe and secured was a priority. Examining it, you can tell that it is good armor, but it's not like the best armor. For sure, a lot of it is for show, but it does give you a +2 to your AC. It also gives you a base AC of 15, so base AC of 15 +2, that is total of 17. If yours is already better than that, wouldn't be worth it. That being the case, though, your sister did mention another set of armor that might be in the former council's room. Do you go look for it alone, or do you have help from another?
I would ask Fayil if she would like to join me in the hunt for it, but not anyone else in particular.
Yeah.
If I see someone on the way there, I might ask them to tag along. But
Fayil would not join you in this, mainly because she needs to rest. Because unfortunately, she's been chastised by her brother for taking too much on, and she's literally wiped herself clean. Out of everything she can do. Physically, she has been limited. Mentally, she's prepared. But unfortunately, this isn't something she's used to. She's taken on too much. And quite literally needs to rest. That being the case, though, you do find other people. There is Sprite, for sure. There is also Peter, that you might be able to get in communication with. If you don't remember them, he's the muscle dude with the big sword.
yeah, shouldn't he be outside Fayil's room, doing his fucking job?
He is there. That's why I'm saying you found him.
Oh, okay.
There's also Sprite. A spry young individual. But on the street, you also see this guy. Oops. Nope. Wrong layer. You also see this guy. If you remember him, if not, that is okay.
No, I don't think I do. I remember a different elf that looked a little bit similar.
Yeah.
But that was the hunter for the refugee camp, right?
Yes.
That's the one I'm thinking of, but this is a different guy.
This is a different guy. Yes. You know this man. I'm not gonna make you a roll. You for sure would have met him, and you've met him more than once. So, knowledge base is sound. You would have this information. I just wanted to see if you remembered him. Birch is
Not offhand.
Birch is a member of the Honeybees, the organization you may or may not have joined accidentally back in Ascara. You like joined them for a bit and then like never fully committed, so like there's that.
Right.
He
Okay.
is an acting agent that can meld into the earth and trees. He's essentially a rogue, but not fully a rogue. He is something else as well. Multiclassing. He was in town for a bit, and he's still in town. You could potentially get his help as well if you desire, or you can go alone. These are just the people you meet offhand.
Peter needs to stay with Fael, so I assume I met Sprite first, so I'll have her tag along. And then I'll ask Birch what he's doing so far away from Ascara and see if he would like to tag along for a
Yeah.
small chat.
Sprite joins the group. I'm gonna put Fael into GM layer. As you ask him this, as you and Sprite are heading towards the location, he like joined you for a stroll for a bit, and he does state, yes, as mentioned beforehand, I came here bearing information on the border dispute on ships heading into our land through your own kingdom, as well as the drow in the bordered area that might be surveilling the defenses of both yours and
Right,
ours.
But that was months ago, was it not?
At this point, yes. I'm gonna be honest, I never left since that point in time.
You just find Mauritania more to your liking than Ascara? If so, I do not blame you. I've tried very hard to make it very welcoming.
You've done well, don't get me wrong. It's more like making sure that every egg is in place and set in motion, and that your defenses are secure, so we don't have to fight this fight. Other than that, though, honestly, it's been a lot easier to live here than back at home. If I didn't have family back there, allegiances, and a mistress, I'd probably be willing to join you guys.
And why not just bring them all with you?
My wife can't know about my mistress. You see the problem?
Oh, these are separate people. I see.
Yes. I'm still criminal and not the best guy.
Like Aster says this in a voice where the thought hadn't even crossed his mind.
Yeah. Birch is okay, but he's not the morally best person in the world. But if you do need help, I'm more than willing to give it.
If Ascara wishes to send aid, I would not turn them away. I was just thinking perhaps of contacting one of your runaway nobles to see if she might pull some strings.
If you give me the name, I can definitely hunt them down. Look for them.
If she does not wish to be found, I would not betray her trust in that.
I mean, fair.
I have no obligation to deliver you another mistress now, do I?
I only need the one. I only have so much money. Again, easier to live here.
Yes, well, perhaps you might choose one of them by themselves one day and move here, in which case you will be welcome. I do not think you beyond redemption, friend.
Fair enough. Let's see here. Well, you will not give me the name of your of the nobleman. I can speak with the honeybees in the area, closer to the border, and see if any of them are willing to help you in this endeavor. Many of them are former criminals. Many of them current criminals. If possible, amnesty would be given in your kingdom. I see no reason why they couldn't assist you in this battle.
If they flee from nonviolent crimes and aid Morton in its defense, I will happily grant them citizenship.
A lot of it is just robbing. I'm going to be honest with you. Only around 30% of us are violent criminals or former violent criminals.
Morton is like saying it'd be like saying America instead of the United States of America is what Morton is. If that makes sense.
Oh, so Martin instead of Mauritania?
Yeah.
I had assumed. But thank you for clarifying. Yeah. So, like, Birch is willing to get some of the honeybees that are non-violent criminals into the fold. Very well. I will take a look into this. Sprite, like, worried what this conversation is. Doesn't say anything because it's under place. But it does look towards you, Aster, and does state, Your Majesty, perhaps it'd be prudent for him to head out now, so in the coming days he would have men ready to assist us. More or less saying, is he part of this? Should he leave and go do that?
Birch, I fear that your presence is upsetting my other companion here. I think she wishes to not become another mistress. I'll be seeing you off then, friend.
She's too young. I like him a good 572 years old. What is she, like 200? No, thank you. Walks away.
I fear that I have just aged 500 years hearing that.
Well, first of all, I'm not 200. I am a half elf. I am 23, but okay. He seems nice enough, but not the most moral individual. But hopefully he can help the kingdom, Your Majesty.
If we can help the kingdom and provide aid to those who wish to cleanse themselves of their sins of the past, I will happily take the chance to do both.
Fair enough. You've already provided me with a chance of my own. So why not help others along the way? And you remember she was a farmer's hand before any of this that she was capable of. Half elves weren't like at all allowed to be, well, where in the position she is now. She's doing far better now than she was ever beforehand. Yoko. But besides that, you guys make way to the former council room and begin to look for any potential hidden rooms. Aster, go ahead and roll investigation with advantage as Sprite is assisting you. Not bad, but is there any way to boost it? I'm not saying you failed, I'm just asking.
No. Though, I didn't I find another one of my father's hidden chambers once before?
Yes.
Would I get any knowledge of how he likes to hide things from that?
That is a good point. Like, people have patterns. People for sure would be accustomed to hiding things in certain ways. Yeah, why not? I'll allow you to roll again and add a +1. Still advantage. Sprite's still helping you. She doesn't like stop helping you. It'd be weird. We'll take the better of the two. Which is 18. Which I'm going to be honest, succeeded. Investigating the area, you begin to examine, see if there's anything hidden further in. I did have people investigate this area, by the way. I just didn't roll high because it's me rolling. But an 18 does do it. You eventually find this little wedge between the wall. Taking one of the hairpins that Sprite has, you like put it inside the little wedge, and you feel a mechanism begin to like turn and move. Eventually, you realize that this is some type of puzzle. Roll insight advantage. 2 brains working on this. 14 is good enough. DC to beat was 13. This was an old thing I had set in motion. It just never got discovered because I was the one rolling for it. What you're gonna do? Opening it up, you do see the item inside has changed, by the way, to accommodate for current level. As it opens up, you do see a wardrobe functionally inside. You see like gnarly swords, spears, daggers, some of them jet black, others pearly white, and like some silvered ones, some standard other ones. To the side of that is like pristine armor set in like gold plated filigree around it, platinum emblem of the kingdom's crest on the chest area. And the boots also match everything else as well. This for sure would fetch a pretty penny. So would the technical weapons as well. And you have found the hidden armor of your father, which I thought would get to be used when you first met the former council of very bad dudes. Never did. Lied to their face and lied well.
Yeah, you don't have to mind me. I'm just here to, be the war guy. I'm not going to do anything there's going to be 0 coups while I'm in charge. Definitely do not worry about that at all, period, ever. Yeah.
Sprite does say, well, is this what you were looking for, Your Majesty? I think we found it. We found something at the very least.
At the very least.
Should I get someone to investigate these items in question?
No, that'll be okay. Just give me a moment.
Very well.
And yeah, I'm just gonna cast Detect Magic and look everything over and see if anything looks overtly suspicious or not.
Some of them are magic, some are not. The armor is magic. All of it, most, if not everything, is enchanted or magically infused to be stronger, sturdier. Some blades do necrotic damage, others do holy damage. And even others still do this weird thing called kinetic damage. The armor itself is well built and well fortified. It gives you a base AC of 20. And it has an item engraved into it known as Embered Flame. It allows you to come back from death once every 10 days. Essentially, it casts a Revivify spell if you ever die. It brings you back up to, I believe, half health. You can still die afterwards, but, it's pretty good.
Yugo taught you swordsmanship, yes?
Yes, Miss Yoko has indeed. In fact, I would say I was her first student, if not her best, if one of the twins that she was teaching did not outclass me nearly immediately after joining her studies. I'm a little bitter about that.
Have you been practicing since then?
I have, extensively.
I think that if you were to challenge them, you would find that you are probably still better off.
Uh, it was more. Thank you, Your Majesty. It was more of when we were having a practice bout, she was able to parry my blade away. In combat, it's essentially death, or a good risk factor of death. Ever since then, I've incorporated. She then brings out, like not brings out, but like shows you a small dagger blade. This blade into my own fighting style to allow for a potential block.
I don't believe that's a way of fighting I've ever seen Yuko do.
It's something I've needed to learn as my own skills developed. Unfortunately, I'm a little taller and more. I don't mean this in a rude way, more muscular than she. She's a lot more lean. So I need to find ways of adapting my own body shape into fighting.
Of course. And it's good that you recognize these differences.
Thank you. But as this is going on, you have a whole bunch of weapons you could distribute or take for yourself. But there's also that armor.
I was about to get back to that, I promise.
Yeah. I'm just saying that still exists. So, like, think about what you want to do with that. But yeah, go ahead.
Aster's gonna take a look around all those weapons. He's gonna find one that hopefully these have like sheaths and stuff, right?
They do. They're
He's
like-
gonna pick up. They're like what?
They're like to the side, so like you see the blade for what it is.
Gotcha. And he's gonna go ahead and pick up one of the more normal-looking ones.
Yeah, you find a nice silvered blade.
He's gonna put the sheath on it. He's gonna look to Sprite. I'm going to swing at you now. I want you to block or evade the attack.
Very well.
I'm basically telling her to take probably like the dodge action or whatever her equivalent is so that I don't fucking murder her here.
Yeah, she actually has a skill for this. Go ahead and roll to attack.
I don't have a normal sword on my stuff, so I'm just gonna use a hand axe.
Fair. Okay. And boom. Reactional feat. As you swing towards her with the hand axe, immediately she uses like the smaller blade to cut into the hand axe as it curves towards her, using the momentum to like parry her body around yours, allowing her to take an opportunity attack against you. But obviously she's not going to try to murder the king unless... No, she's not. She's like able to use the momentum to like spin around and move around you.
Good. Take one of the blades here. I care not which one. It is yours. Consider it a gift for all your hard work. Then take another one and consider that for Yuko if she ever returns to mentor you again.
Thank you. She politely bows, looks towards the blades, takes one of the white blades and takes the coolest looking sword she thinks Yoko might like. Sheaths both of them, puts the cooler looking blade inside of her, like behind her, so she isn't able to like draw it out. But the one of the pearlescent blades she sits to her side so she can actually use it in combat.
I'm gonna take this armor. I want you to return to the general. The vampire-looking guy whose name escapes me right now.
Lightly bows.
Tell him that I would like the frontline soldiers to have a volunteer-only tournament, and those who go through the tournament and make high enough spots within it each get one of these blades to use within battle.
Very well, Your Majesty. Makes way, heads towards the location of the vampire general, whose name also escapes me.
I'm
But
looking for it.
Yeah, I think it's like a common name I gave you guys. I do not remember. I'm looking for a map that might have him there. Here. Fighting ring area that you guys fight in all the time. Roy, that's what it was.
For some reason, I wanted to say Vaughn. And
Va-
yeah, I found Roy. Yeah. Lieutenant Commander was investigating the Kingdoms of the North Blade expert, is what I have down for him.
He will prepare that all together. So that conversation is happening. Looking at the blades and looking at the armor. Do you attempt to don it?
I'm gonna take it to Jean Luc and have him make sure it's not turbo cursed.
Jean-Luc examines it, can't identify, does state, "Oh, it is extremely cursed. In fact, once you touch it, it will immediately kill you on your deathbed, I'm afraid. Terrible curse. I am fucking with you. No, it's fine.
I was gonna say that didn't make sense. Kill me on my deathbed. I'm already on my deathbed in that case.
No, I'm just making levity. In truth, it doesn't have possess any type of curse, or at least none that I can identify. It does have enchantments upon it that allows this armor set to be quite hardy and strong, giving you an AC of 20. It has something known as Ember Flame that allows you to revive yourself using Revivify, bringing you back up to half health, and it will recharge itself on the 10th day following this first flame. Very strong and sturdy armor set, and I'm going to be honest, this could be sold for quite an amount. Roughly around, if I'm going to be truthful with you, which I for sure am, 500,000 gold. And most of that's just on the precious metals on the thing.
How ostentatious does this thing look? It's got 500,000 gold worth of precious metals.
It's pretty presentable. You for sure can tell you are the leader of a kingdom. But it's also needs to be precious metals so the magic can actually work appropriately. I'm only assuming because of very, very little bits of information of alchemy that I know of, because I got curious at one point and like metals, like a good alchemical thing. So I'm assuming magic works the same way. So like platinum, silver, gold, all through everywhere.
Sure. I mean, checks out to me. I don't know.
But like a good amount. And then there's like the art design of everything fitting together appropriately.
Well, I will keep that in mind, but given that I do not have another set of armor that is more presentable for a leader, I mean to wear it in battle.
That's fair. If we ever need funds, though, we know where to get them. You like politely.
Yeah, I honestly, it might have to happen regardless at the end of the war. That's yeah, I can't rightly sit on this.
Well, sure. Also, good for show. Anyways, presenting yourself for a good amount of time. In this regalia. But enough about that. It is not cursed, and thankfully enough, it won't kill you. I don't know, unless the giant dragon like sits on you, then it probably like will bend into your chest, but that's like an extreme case.
The system so that people can hear me. How is that going?
It'll be ready by tomorrow. If I don't get any sleep today, it'll be ready by morning. If I do, before sunset tomorrow.
Get some sleep. As will I.
Thank you. Goes like over 10 feet and like sits on the couch that is in his workshop and immediately passes out.
And yeah, I'll just take the armor back to my room and finally head to bed.
And you head to bed.
Well-deserved rest.
Yeah. So, as Aster prepares for the coming fights, Jean preparing for the upcoming workful morning, and as Yoko heads further south for a maybe greater fight of her own, as well as this new guy that may or may not be joining you because they're super into fighting. At least that's what I've been told. One thing is for sure known. Maybe it's a good idea Aster didn't join Yoko, because I don't know how long they would be staying in their kingdom if Aster wrestled them to victory. Because they probably would join you immediately because you'd be like buff. So maybe it's a good thing for the enemy that you are not there. But with Yoko finding a new teacher and this new guy named, gonna pronounce it correctly hopefully, Asora, joining in this potential fight, at least with Yoko and this new teacher, we will see what the heck will go on next time. And what is going on with Vaughn? Why is he part of this muscle group? But maybe that will be for another time, as we end the session for today.